Okay, you ready, Bob? Here. See that? Ready? Touch. Yes, good boy. Nice job. Close. Good boy. Ready? Up. Wait. All right. Walk up. Wait. Hi, I'm George Quinlan, and welcome to another edition of It's All About the Dogs. This is my buddy Bobby. Bobby is a 10-year-old border collie. He's been with me since he was 12 weeks of age. He's our Animal Crisis Response Team member. Him and I traveled, and we talked to people around the country. We assisted with tornado disasters, and we were involved with survivors of suicide cases. Not the person that tried to commit suicide, but the people that found the body of their loved one. Bobby's really good about sensing a time to work and a time to rest. Or Simon Garfunkel says, a time to work and a time to play. With us, it's the same. Work and play is combined. It's we're going to show you today how to train your dog by everyday interaction. And one of the dog's favorite toys that he has is this toy here. And it's just a small piece of carpet. And the purpose of this is to give the dog a target to go to start learning to lay down in a particular location. I don't start with this. We start with a bigger object, and we're going to discuss that in today's show. We are tuning up to be able to get outside and to be able to show you more training ideas, but we need to get your foundation started, and we want you to participate by playing along with your dog. I want to give you challenges as you go, and the challenges could be something as one of my favorite exercises that you can teach your dog at home without me telling you. I want you to take this challenge on, and that is teaching your dog to take a hanky out of your pocket when you sneeze and give it to you. Sounds really complicated. We're going to break it down. We're going to show you how to break down dog training to have fun with your dog and to find out what your dog likes. Just because you want to teach your dog something, he may not be capable of comprehending what it is. So we're going to break them down into small segments. We're going to break it down to 1 minute to 3 minute segments of training. To do this, you have to be prepared. You have to know what you want to accomplish, the tools that you need to do it, and is your dog going to participate? In other words, do you have the right tools, the right treats, the right toys for your dog to be able to participate in this? What this we use, the technique that I use, and I really, really stress to everybody is you need 3 high-value treats. 3 high-value treats, low-value treat, and a moderate-value treat. Okay, so not 3 high-value treats. Let me correct myself. What you need is a low value might be his dog kibble. Just as an example, you need to find out from your own dog. A moderate value, and one of my favorite treats, and I'm not selling anything here, I'm bringing in the things that I use. All the toys up here, the toys, the leashes, these are my personal items. So they're old, they're beat up, and I want you to show you what we use. One of my favorite dog treats are Charlie bears. You can pick them up in a variety of different places. They're healthy. They're not a lot of junk in them, and they're just the right size for training a dog to do what you want, to show them what you want to do. Charlie bears would be, for my dogs, they might be a high value sometimes. They may be a low value compared to this item. This is my high value treat that I use. Some people will use hot dogs. We use this product here. Again, I'm not trying to sell anything, so but this is a lamb product, and it's actual dog food. As you can see, I just took the plastic off and it automatically got his attention. He got up immediately. The difference between the two is, the big difference for some is you have to cut this up. So the idea is, it feels like a cooking show here. is how to cut it up properly and how to store it properly so it doesn't go bad on you. I just cut off, depending on what I'm going to be doing that day, how much training I'm going to be doing. I cut a sliver like this. This is the way I like to do it. I put a plastic bag on it and stick it back into its Tupperware, if you will, and put it in the refrigerator and keep it cold so it stays fresh. Now, there's a couple of ways you can use this treat, this training treat. One of the things I like to do is I like using a training bag. It has an opening like a purse, so it gives me a chance to wear a purse and get away with it. When I put it on, it's set to be comfortable, and it can be sitting lower. It can be sit where you're most comfortable. I like to use these because if I'm going to use something chewy and gooey like hot dogs or liverwurst or cheese or this product here, I don't have to worry about it. Sometimes I'll put the product in my pocket, such as this, and break a piece off as I need it. And because he's being such a good dog, being patient and not being a pain in the neck, I'll treat him. Another time, depending on what I'm training, I'm going to dice it. And the reason I'm showing you how to do this is because you want to be able to make sure that you have the right size food for the task at hand. Now, there are some that like to make fun of people that use food for training dogs. They don't understand. So let me help you understand why I enjoy using food. I enjoy eating. I mean, look at me. It's pretty easy to tell that I enjoy my food. I enjoy home-cooked food. And so I don't see why my dog can't enjoy training with something that's really delicious and appetizing. And the benefit to the treats over toys is I can get rapid behavior, I can get repetition, I can do it over and over and over quickly, and I don't have to worry about getting the toy back. I use food to induce a behavior, to teach the dog what is it that I want, and I use a toy to lift up the drive once they start to know the behavior. Now, I want to talk about the pros and cons to everything that we do today. I like using my treats this big. I might even make them a little smaller depending on the size of the dog I'm using. When I give my treat, I generally like to put it in my hand like this. So if my dog wants it, he can push into it and take it and not bite my fingers. If I'm going to teach a dog to be gentle, I hold it my fingers like this, be gentle. And you can see that he is taking it is gentle. Good. So he should be able to take that out of a baby's hand. I tried to get Michelle to bring her baby and her little 7-month-old baby feed my dog, but they wouldn't go for it. So we'll just leave it with that. So I use this treat as a high motivation to teach something brand new. I use this treat once the dog starts to understand it, and I use their dog food later to maintain it. I might even use their food when I go to feed the puppy. I'll use the dog dish as a training tool to be able to get my dog to behave around the house and get used to being having children walk by the dog dish and not being concerned about it. Now, I'm going to recommend you try this because even if your dog doesn't have issues, because there's nothing wrong with rewarding a dog just because he's doing something good and encouraging something over and over. So if this is my dog food, are you ready to eat? Okay. Can you come close to me? Come close. Good. And we're going to walk out here. Some people make the dog sit. I generally teach the dog to walk with me. I step back. I pick up a piece of high value, Bobby, and I toss it in. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it won't. But the idea is, Bobby, I'm teaching the puppy that as I approach his dish, something great is being added to it. Bobby, good. So as he's eating his meal, remember I'm not feeding him his meal here, so this is a quick little snack. Bobby, good. Bobby, good. See, the head snap up is what we're going for. And he gets it out of his dish. You can use table scraps. I know some people don't want to use table scraps to feed the dog. And there's nothing wrong with that if it's being used in the dish. And if you decide you want to use table scraps, what I recommend you do is that you, if you're a meat eater, you save your steak, you save whatever. I don't give pork to my dogs, but my chicken, I let it solidify 24 hours overnight. And then I use that food not while it's fresh off your plate. I want it to be drier, easier to handle, and let the fat solidify on it. It just makes it a little bit easier for you. Now, clean up is real simple with this. You have to rinse this off and store it, wash it and store it, so it doesn't keep drawing the dog to it and wanting to get into trouble. Now, if you have a dog that eats wicked fast and is gulping its food, you need to slow that dog down. This will help slow the dog down. And also you can do is if you have a bowl such as this, you can flip it over and put the food around the bowl in the middle. So the dog now has to work for its food, and it will slow it down to save problems of taking in too much air. From what I understand and information that I've read, that bloat is caused by too much air in the dog's stomach, and eating too quickly will cause that. Eating too quickly is also a sign of a dog that might be insecure, not comfortable with situations. So I want to slow my dog down and teach him how to eat, relax. How often do we hang out with our friends, and some people eat really, really fast, and some people are just really wicked, and they can sit back and have a leisurely meal. We want this dog to have a leisurely meal. So the food dish is a very critical part of my training aids. It is used to teach a dog to be patient. It's used to teach the dog to follow me across the room. It's used to hand feed the dog from to teach it to be gentle. So meal time is a great opportunity for training your dog instead of just wasting it by filling it up, putting it down. And I'm dead set against animals being free-fed, because I think you're missing a quality opportunity to participate and train your dog. We like presentation. We like our food looking really nice instead of just being thrown on a plate. And so presentation is a big part for training your dog as well. Another reason I like food is when you go to parties, when you think about it, your party is centered around food. It's around the kitchen. It's around the dining area. There's always food at parties. And so it's a main reward, if you will, or a social event to sit with friends around meals. And so why shouldn't it be used when training my dog? There are some times when I don't. Sometimes I just go out, bring my dog dinner, but he has to either kennel up or box up. He may have to go wait in a certain location. Now, what I did with that carpet square, that carpet round, by teaching the dog to go wait over there, I can do the same thing just by using the food. But if I use it again, if I put it out there, as I'm teaching a dog, this is where you're going to eat, and I want to reward my dog for going to that spot. You had already breakfast today, didn't you? Ready? Go to your spot. Turn. Right there. Good. Now, I've used this spot to be able to encourage my dog to go over to be prepared to eat and wait for me. It's really nice to say, go to your spot and have it. Okay, rush away. Go play. I also tell my dog that he's done if I've given a command. So go to a spot. Go to your crate. Go to your bed. Awesome game to play with your dog, and this is how I teach it. I won't use the spot to teach my dog to eat its meal. I'm using it as a demonstration for you. All I have to do is tell my dog, go to your spot, and bring him over and feed him in the same spot every day. I used it because this is not his home, so I wanted you to see how I utilize that little carpet square. So know what you want to teach. How are you going to get to that process, all right? When I'm training something brand new, it's a real simple process. I break it down. I teach my dog what I want for about a minute, and I stop and ask, what am I trying to teach the dog? What's he learning? If it's the same thing, cool. Let's continue on for a couple of more minutes. If it's not, I have to ask myself, what can I do to make it easier for the dog to succeed? How can I help the dog understand what it is that I want? Now, what you want to understand is I don't start with this little circle. You probably could. But, whoa, when I'm teaching, I try not to trip. I start with this toy. This is nothing more than a big bucket. I have a couple of them in different sizes. And I teach my dog to step on the bucket by taking out my high-value treat. Bob, ready? Put it in front of the bucket. When he puts his feet on it, he gets rewarded. I'll see if I can turn him around. Release him. Yes. Good. He's going to want to touch it. Ready? Come close. Ready? Touch. Yes. Good. Understand he knows this game. Come here. Good. So he knows the longer he's on that bucket, the more he's going to get rewarded. So he's going to stay on that for a longer period of time. Can you turn? Good, 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 good. And what we teach a dog, is to move its body and body awareness. Walk up. Yes, good job. And teach them how to use his back end. Teach them to be aware of his body instead of just manipulating and pulling and yanking with the leash. And we're going to get into that in a second. Okay, all done. Rush away. I then go to a larger carpet square. I put the carpet square on the bucket. Touch. Good. Yes. And the reason I use a bucket it's elevated. The dog doesn't have to be so concerned about looking down to see where the item is. I want him to feel it first and be aware of his body. And he gets the reward every time he touches it. It won't take a long time for dogs to learn this. A lot of dogs that come to us learn this really, really rapidly. So then thank you for getting off. Once I've taught this and I've put this on it, I can now place the carpet on the floor, remove the bucket, touch, yes, and he starts learning, good job, that's the spot to be. Okay, go play. I then transfer down to a smaller and smaller square. I have squares of all different sizes, not for him, but for different sized dogs. If I want to teach him to go to a location, I teach him the dog bed the same exact way. He goes over on the dog bed, he steps on it, I reward him for going onto his bed. I don't have to make him sit, I don't make him down, don't make him do anything, I just make him go, teach him to run over to there, and great things are about to happen. So, how do we teach? We start with the dog's meal. We start with his dog food to begin with because it's an everyday event and you're going to just make it a little bit nicer presentation than just putting his food dish down. If I have a dog that's very anxious, I don't want to make him sit and stay and wait because the dog starts drooling, they start wiggling, they become anxious, they're not learning to control themselves. So what you want to do is teach a dog to have an off button. This is a border collie. I'm sure you've heard stories that border collies are off the wall. They take a high energy. This dog has traveled on airplanes with me. My other border collie would do the same and yet work livestock from horseback. So they're fully capable of having an off button. Merlin has an off button. And if you've been watching the show, you've seen when he comes in here, if I'm not giving him extra attention, he'll just settle down because he knows it's not ready time to work, okay? So low value dog food, moderate value something such as these. These are called gummy bears. I happen to be very fond of these. High value could be a hot dog, could be cheese, it could be lamb. This is called pet botanics. You find what your dog likes, not what my dog likes. Your dog like Cheerios, fine. Carrots, fine. It doesn't matter. Okay? That said, if you're going to get ready for training, there's another critical piece that you need to have that you don't see on the table right here. And that's why I want you to think for a second and say, what's missing? I've got my dog. I've got my food. I got all my utensils to be able to fix it. I got my bait bag. What's missing you should have a little water available for the dog to offer it them. I love this little thing. It can fit into his crate. It's got a flat side to it. I can put it, you want a drink? Up against the wall, and it's available to him. And I take it out, and I'll use water as a training tool. I have chickens at home, and the chickens, I work them for water because they're always eating. And so I teach them to go back home to get their water. In the desert, I used water to do my recalls with. That said, we're going to talk about more toys. You have to find what kind of toy your dog likes. What kind of dog do you have? Is it a terrier? Is it a sighthound? Is it a golden retriever? You have to know your animal. Each animal is slightly different, okay? You have to know how to take your bait bag off without getting it hung up onto your speaker, your microphone. Different types of games. This is a chase toy. As you can see, Bob likes this. I would throw this, and he would chase it. I want him to bring it back and give it to me. So it's a cooperative game. It's not just using muscles. It's working with me. It's called working in pack drive using prey drive. The way I start teaching this is I don't throw the toy. I encourage the dog to hold it first and then give it to me. Once they can hold it and give it to me, I then encourage them to pick it up. And before I even throw it, good boy. Whoops. You hold it. Get it. Good job. Good. Ready? Wait. Pick it up. Get it. Good boy. Here. Nice. Come on. Good job. Good boy. I don't need food when I play with toys because the toy is a self-reward. And a simple exercise such as this you can do in your living room when you're relaxing or when you want to spend some quality time with your dog. Don't have to always throw the toy to begin with. You can just teach them to hold it, to find it. And then I could teach him to, can you wait? Ready? Find it. Good boy. Good job. And so what I'm teaching my dog is now to find the toy by going around. But don't start hiding it right off the bat. Put it where they can see it. Move it a little bit out of the way, a little bit more. Teach them to use their nose as well as just their eyesight. When they're chasing, they're using their eyes. When they have to search for something, they have to use their nose. Now, I had some really nice people come see me the other day, and one of the ladies told me that what she does is she fakes the dog out. She makes believe she's throwing the toy one way and then throws it the other way and tells the dog to find it. She wasn't doing it to be mean. She was doing it because she thought that was a good way to teach a dog to search something. But it's also breaking trust. I want my dog to trust me, so I don't lie to my dog. I want to encourage the dog by teaching it to say, work with me. So I teach the puppy to pick this up, give it to me, and then I start throwing it further and further away. This is a tug toy. It can also be a retrieving toy. So depending on the dog that you're working with, you don't need, again, these are my toys that I use with my dogs. This is what my dogs enjoy doing. This is a very hard. It's extremely hard. It's actually glued down so it won't unravel when a dog plays with it. This is another toss game, or it's a fine game, or it's a tug toy. Depending on what I'm doing and what I'm rewarding, again, find out what your dog enjoys doing, all right? These are toys I can use with Bobby, and these are Merlin's toys. This is Merlin's tug toy. He really enjoys playing with this. I can teach him to turn his head by holding the toy this way, and he has to turn his head to bite it. I can hold it like this. I can hold it out for him to jump up and catch it. Again, find out what your dog likes and get the toy that's suitable for that dog. Merlin will play with this. Bob likes this better. Merlin likes this better. This is another tug toy. This is my Merlin. He's a Bouvier de Flandre, and he adores this, and you probably can't see where he grabs hold of it. And I utilize this to teach him to come when called. And I teach him to respond very rapidly, because when he's out doing something, or I might throw another toy, I then call him and hold this toy up like this and let him jump up and catch it. It's a slow process to teach this so you don't get bit. And when you do tug toys, you don't want to move them, because if your tug toy is here and your dog's coming to bite it and you move it here, your arm is now there and your arm is going to get bit. It's the same thing as holding it here and then moving it, your arm is going to get bit, or the dog's going to jump up on top of you. A toy is a toy is a toy. You find out what your dog enjoys to play with. These are my dog's toys. This is what they enjoy. Your dog might like a Kong. Tennis balls can be a problem. Tennis balls have a lot of nylon, and they can wear a dog's teeth down, and in the process end up having, over long periods of times, if a dog's obsessed, can destroy the dog's teeth and the enamel. Talk to your veterinarian about that. What I also understand is tennis balls get really wet, and that nylon gets slimy, and some dogs will get it actually stuck in their throat. Not too long ago, a sad event happened where it wasn't a tennis ball that I know of, but a police dog was training and playing really hard, and in the heat they were panting extra hard and actually got the ball lodged in their throat, and they couldn't get it out in time, and the handler took several bites trying to get it, but at the end of the day they lost the dog, unfortunately. He died because of suffocation. He wasn't able to get the ball out in time. So be aware, look at the size of your dog's head. If you have a large size Rottweiler, or even some of these Labradors have oversized heads, then you want to make sure you use a hard rubber toy. The toys I use different types of balls. This one is really solid, so the dogs can pull this and the rope's not going to come out. Another one I have is made of burlap, very similar to this product here, and the rope is made of this product here, and it's done inside the ball and then glued, and so it's solid. I like those because they don't roll. This is limited in how much it's going to roll because of the string. If you play with a Kong toy, Kong rubber ball, one of my favorites. You can get them in different sizes, appropriate size for your dog's head. If you don't want it to roll far, put it in a pair of socks. Absolutely. Speaking of pair of socks, this is another one of my dog's toys. This is a retrieve. Again, this is not Bob's. I don't think I've ever invited Bob to play with this. Do you want to play with this? Huh? You want to come here? Can you sit? Can you hold it? Good. See, he's never had this in his mouth before. So, settle. Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy. Open. No. Come on. Good. Ready? Get it. Good. Get it. Good boy. Ready? Good. So Bob doesn't like to have his mouth opened up. This type of stuff thrown into it or stuck into it, but ready? Get it. Pick it up. Pick it up. Good boy. Bring it to me. Good. Yes, good job. Don't worry about what you hear or read in books, that you have to use single-syllable words, that they have to be quick and harsh. We're playing. I'm teaching them how to have fun. I'm teaching it to work with me. So it doesn't matter if you use a high-end ball or an old pair of socks. It's you induce it to the dog. You encourage it. You don't just toss it in the ground and tell the dog to get it. You try to tease him a little bit. Bob has never liked having his mouth opened up, and I want you to understand that if you try to force something in the dog's mouth, you're going to get resistance. Don't fight with them. If they don't like it, find another way. Encourage them to learn. Encourage them to like it. Okay? I don't worry about it for him because he takes things easily when I move it, because it's called prey drive. He moves very quickly to it. I don't have to open his mouth to force him to take anything into his mouth. Merlin, I had to teach him to open his mouth so I could put this in and place this in there and teach him to hold it. And anytime I'm teaching something new now, I hold it in my hand and encourage him to hold it. So, different types of toys that we have to play with. Now, let's talk about training equipment. This is your standard collar. I like using standard collars. I'm going to move along with this because there's not this another whole show just on this alone, but we're just going to introduce you. This is your standard collar. This is Barbie's collar. All my dogs are taught to be really excited about putting their collars on. Barbie, come here. Want to hook up? There. And the way this is taught is just that. It's taught. Good boy. I don't put it on and leave it on. I put it on, have some fun stuff happen, and then I take it off. I take my dog's collars off every night so they get used to me touching their neck, used to me touching them on their ears, and the dog sees their collar and they get really excited. This collar here is going to surprise a lot of people, I'm sure. This is called a fur saver. It's not a choke chain. It looks like one, but it doesn't flow because of the links. It's not designed to punish a dog through training with it. This is a fur saver, just what the word says. It doesn't destroy the dog's coat. This is Merlin's training collar. And when I hook Merlin's collar on, I make it like a P. I put it on so it's nice and loose, and I take his leash, whichever one I'm using, and I hook it to what's called the dead ring. The live ring is the one that moves. The dead ring is the one that stays still. Other times I'll use it. I use it like this. I put the ring in, and then put the other ring in. And now I can just put it on its head, and it's just a guidance. The leash is never used to force the dog to stay with me. The leash is used to stop the dog from just wandering off. And then, so I start off with something like a 30-foot, a 20-foot leash on my puppy. And then I go to a 6-foot, a 3-foot. These are true tools of the trade. These are my tools. I bought this originally because it's a competition leash. So if I wanted to compete, you couldn't have your leash in your hand, or if you were busy doing something, you could just wrap this and put it on your waist. That's the intentions, but it doesn't fit me anymore. So another wonderful leash that's on the market. I love cotton. I love nylon. They're all great. I'm fond of these type of leashes because it gives me a lot of flexibility with my dog. I'll show you the bigger one. This is Merlin's street leash. And the way I use this is I hook this on. I can make a handle with the first D. I can shorten the leash and make it a shorter leash with a second. And what I use this for is, I'm not going to put this on right now, but I would slide it over well, maybe I can, like this, and my hands are free. So in the wintertime, I can walk my dog with my hands in my pockets. Walk my dog. I walk with my dog. I don't let my dog drag me. I don't disconnect from my dog. I walk with my dog. So when we're out for a walk, we're not out there. If it's a walk for us, we're going someplace. If it's a walk for a dog, I'll let them sniff. It's a walk for me. If I don't want to focus on my dog, then I leave the dog home and I go for a walk myself. There's a city line. I can now make this a lot smaller by using the attachments to control the leash so it's not flopping all over the place. This is the equipment that I use. Some people like using harnesses. I have 2 harnesses I use for my dog. One is for tracking, and the other is for pulling. This is Merlin's pulling line. His pulling harness. So when he has this on, he's encouraged that he can pull against the leash as hard as he wants, because that's what it's designed for. So his head comes through here. The chest pad is padded. I have a handle, and I can encourage him to pull. Merlin is a carting dog. My other Bouviers have all helped me around the home by pulling. Instead of me pushing a wheelbarrow with brush, I have hook up a harness to them. I hook up a dog. What am I trying to say? Wagon, a cart. And it's just like a horse cart, only it's a smaller version for the dog. And the dog will actually pull and pick up brush for me. And we're refurbishing my old dog's cart right now so Merlin can start using it. So this is my harness. I don't walk my dogs in a harness. I walk my dogs in a collar. It doesn't matter what you use. It doesn't matter if you use a collar, a harness, or a gentle leader. It's used the same way. It's not used to punish. It's not used to force the dog to stay with me. It's used to teach the dog, stay close by not allowing it to walk off. And every time it's close, it gets rewarded. And if you've been watching this show, you've noticed that my dogs hang out with me a lot. That's the results of teaching this. So, to wrap this up, these are the products that I use. They don't have to be fancy. I just happen to like leather products because they feel comfortable. You can use cotton, you can use nylon. I don't want the oversized ones because they don't feel comfortable in my hand. When I'm walking my dog, I want to be focused with my dog. I want to be part of my walk. One of the things that I see is happening is we become so focused within ourselves that we disconnect from our dog, and we disconnect from our family. We're in church the other day, and there's a teenage girl texting in the pew in front. Texting while she's in church. Her choice, but don't text while you're driving. Now you got me worried. When we walk, this is the worst thing that you can do to disconnect from your dog, your cell phone. When you're walking your dog, stay with your dog. Be a part of your dog. How much time do you spend with your dog a day? So don't you think that what little time you spend should be quality? And when I go out with my dog, the phone gets turned off. I don't want to be talking to anybody when I'm out with my my dogs. I got 3 dogs. When we're out training, when we're out walking, I want that time to be their time, nobody else's. I don't want to be interfered with. Oh, look at that. I just happened to get a phone call. And my phone, it doesn't matter if it rings because I have it set up to let me know if it's on mute, but I'll look to see it is, and I say, it's the director here. I don't want to talk to him. I'm busy right now. He's probably telling me to wrap it up. What's that said? Let's wrap it up. I hope this helps you. Understand that you want to make a connection with your dog when you're training, so make it positive. One last tool. I will not use this in the studio because it'll blow everybody right out of the sound room, and that's my whistle. This is my critical tool. This is my emergency recall. This is my fun recall. I teach my dog to come to a whistle over my voice. As my emergency, my voice is used, taught the dog routinely, but we overuse the words, this means come to me every time. If I blew this right now, you would hear screams, even from the distance from the sound room. So I am not going to blow this right now. So this encourages the dog, stay with me. This encourages the dog to disconnect. Your choice, your dog. And remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the dogs. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you again and hope you'll be joining us in the next show. Bye-bye. So, bud, what do you think about it? Dirty at the studio. So that's good. Make it sweet, huh? Good boy. Come here. That's good. That's good. That's it. Good. Nice job. Good boy. That's it. I hope the show's over because I'm done.